स्तंभे अवतारस्त्वमन्यलक्ष्यं लक्ष्मीं नृसिंहं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। आधराहितचारुवंशनालाः मकुटालम्ब्य मयूरपिञ्चमालाः हरिनीलशिला विभङ्गलीलाः प्रतिभासन्तु मम अन्तिमप्रयाणे। कृष्ण त्वदीयपदपङ्कजपञ्जरान्तम् अद्यैव मे विशतु मानसराजहंसः। प्राणप्रयाणसमये कपवातपित्तैः कण्ठावरोधनविधौ स्मरणं कुतस्ते। श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। भगवदाज्ञा श्रीमन्नारायणप्रीत्यर्थं श्री गोपाल विंशति ध्यानं करिष्ये। ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमते निगमहन्तमः देशिकाय नमः। श्रीरङ्गनाथेश्वरगोपीन्द्रदष्टमलक्ष्मी नृसिंहशतीत्कर्मैकपात्रं श्रीरङ्गवीररघुराट् षड्गोपरुज्यं वेदान्तदेशिकेति नमः प्रपद्ये। श्रीमते श्रीवंशरगोपश्रीवेदान्तदेशिकेति नमः देशिकाय नमः। ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः। Ma quickly can we chant Gopala Vimshati Amma. Sriman Venkatanathārya Kavitārkikakesari Vedantacharya Varyo me Dattam Sudahrude Vande Vrindavanacharam Vallavijana Vallabham Jayanti Sambhavinidhana
Vajayanti Vibhushanam
Vikshapano Bhaktaravinda Virveshadapachajanyah. No, why don't you chant Amma?
रुचिरे वरपुण्डरीके भक्तासनोजयति वल्लभ चक्रवर्ती
नायकन्दिवितस्फुटातरोष्टं नास्त्रा विलेक्षणमनुक्षणमन्दहासम्
गोपालडिम्ब वपुषं कुहना जनन्याः प्राणस्तनन्दन भवैमि परं पुमांसम्
भृतं परस्तात् आकुञ्चदैकचरणं निवृतान्यपादम्
दत्नानिमन्तमुकरेण निबद्धतालं नाथस्य नन्दभवने नवनीतनाट्यम्
करस्वादु हय्यङ्गवीनं दृष्ट्वा दामः ग्रहणचुक्लां मातरं जातराशाम्
पायातीषत्प्रचलितपदो नापगच्छन्न तिष्ठन् मिथ्या गोपसपदि नयने मीलयन् विश्वगोप्ता
व्रजयोषितपङ्गवेदनीयं मधुराभाग्यमनन्यभोग्यमीडे
वसुदेववधूस्तनन्दयं तत् किमपि ब्रह्मकिशोरभावदृश्यम्
अत्वत्तकन्धरं भयेन स्फुटपुल्लाधरपल्लवं स्फुरामि
विटपित्वा निरासकं कयोश्चित् विपुलोलूखलकर्षकं कुमारम्
दिशामयामि नित्यं निगमान्तैरधुनापि मृग्यमाणम्
यमलार्जुन दृष्टबालकेलिं यमुना साक्षिकयौवनं युवानम्
पदवी मदवीय सीममुक्तेः अटवी सम्पदं वाहयन्ते
अरुणादरसाभिलाषवंशां करुणां कारणमानुषीं भजामि
अनिमेष निषेवनीयमक्ष्णोः अजहद्यवनमाविरस्तु चित्ते
कलहायितकुन्तलं कलापैः करुणोन्मादकविभ्रमं महो मे
अनुयायिवनोद्यवंशनालैः अवधुस्पृशवल्लभीमोहेः
Anaka, go ahead, somebody.
अनघस्मिता शीतलै रसौ माम् अनुकम्पा सरिदम्बुजे अपाङ्गैः
अधराहि तत्कारो विंशनालाः मकुटालम्यमयूरपिञ्चमालाः
हरिनीलशिला विभङ्गनीलः प्रतिभासन्तु ममन्तिमप्रयाणे
अधराहि तचारो विंशनालाः मकुटालम्यमयूरपिञ्चमालाः
हरिनीलशिला विभङ्गनीलः प्रतिभासन्तु ममन्तिमप्रयाणे
अखिलानवलोकयामि कालान् महिलाधीनभुजान्तरस्य यूनः
अभिलाषा पदं व्रजाङ्गनानाम् अभिलापक्रम दूरमाविरूप्यम्
प्रतिमुग्धशिखण्डमण्डनो लिखितक्केन महेश शिल्पिना
मदनातुरवल्लवाङ्गना मदनाम्बुज दिवाकरयुव
महसे महिताय मौलिना विनतेनाञ्जलिमञ्जनत्विषे
कलयामि विमुक्तवल्लवे वलया भाषितमञ्जुवेनवे
चैतललितवृत्तिं शिक्षितो वल्लवीनां शिथिलवलयशिञ्जा शीतलैर्हस्ततालैः
अखिल भुवन रक्षा कोपवेशस्य विष्णुः अधरा मणिसुधायाम् अंशवान् वंशनालः
चित्राङ्कल्पशवशिखलयन् लाङ्गलीकर्णपूरं बर्होत्तंसस्वजिगरो बन्धुजीवं ध्यानः
गुञ्जाबद्धमुरसि ललितां तारायां हारयिष्टिं गोपास्त्रीणां जयति कितवा कोऽपि कौमारहारी
लीलायष्टिं करकसलये दक्षिणे न्यसधन्या मंसे देव्याः पुलकुरचरे सन्निविष्टान्यबाहुः
मेघश्यामो जयति ललितो मेखलदत्तवेणुः गुञ्जापीडा स्फुरितचिकुरौ गोपकन्याभुजङ्गः
प्रच्चारीढस्थितिमतितां प्राप्तगाढाङ्कपालिं पश्चादीशन्मृतिरिमां प्रयसीं प्रेक्षमाणः
वस्त्रयन्त्रप्रणहित करो भक्तजीवातुः अव्यात् वारी क्रीडा निबिड वसनो वल्लवी वल्लभो नः
वासो हृत्वा दिनकरसुता सन्निधौ वल्लवीनां लीलास्मिरो जयतिललतामास्तकुन्दशाखाम्
सव्रीडाभिः तदनु वसने ताभिः अभ्यर्थमाने कामि कश्चित् करकमलयोः अञ्जलिं याचमानः
वासो हृत्वा दिनकरसुता सन्निधौ वल्लवीनां लीलास्मिरो जयतिललतामास्तकुन्दशाखाम्
सव्रीडाभिः तदनु वसने ताभिः अभ्यर्थमाने कामि कश्चित् करकमलयोः अञ्जलिं याचमानः
इत्यनन्यमनसा विनिर्मितां वेङ्कटेशकविना स्तुतिं पठन्
दिव्यवेणुरसिकं समीक्षते दैवतं किमपि यौवतप्रियम्
इत्यनन्यमनसा विनिर्मितां वेङ्कटेशकविना स्तुतिं पठन्
दिव्यवेणुरसिकं समीक्षते दैवतं किमपि यौवतप्रियम्
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने
श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः नारायण
Okay, Amma, what are your questions, Amma? Any questions, Amma? Anything you want to clarify?
Adiyan Swami.
studies at ArcharADri maargam.
Okay, ArcharADri maargam. Question is, do you want to go through that path? That is the point.
Some devotees are interested in Swamiji.
For those of you who had Sharanagati, you don't have to worry. You will go only by that path.
Thank
For
you,
those of you who did not have Sharanagati, guaranteed you will not go by that path. Simple as that. Bhagavan Sri Krishna will not compromise with anything when it comes to moksha. He was very, very unequivocal in his statements. If you want to follow Bhaktivrata Bhakti, he clearly says, Bhakti hi avyabhicharani. If you want to attain him, he says, Ananyas Tintayanto Mam. If we are going to other devatas, Kama is Taistar Hota Jnanaha. See how clearly Krishna says. That's why many of the people who talk about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, if they are not following that Pativrata Bhakti, they will not highlight these points. That is the problem. They will only talk about so many other yogas. Sweet talk, mesmerizing words, high sounding words, just to give an impression that they are a great scholar. They are great scholars, that they have knowledge. Suppose a child gets up when a great upanyasa karta is giving a upanyasam. Sir, you say you are talking about so much of scriptures and knowledge. If you are that intelligent person, why you did not do Sharanagati? Because Krishna says, Jnanavan Mam Prapajyate. If you are a Jnanavan, if you are one endowed with Jnanam, you would have done Sharanagati. The very fact you didn't do Sharanagati indicates you are not a learned person. That's all. It is like an insurance agent. The insurance agent will go from house to house canvassing. Hey, look here. Life is very uncertain. We don't know when we will die. You know, when we die, something should be there for the family. So take an insurance policy. He is telling everyone, but he is not doing it himself. He is doing that insurance policy for everyone because he will get the commission out of it. But he himself is not doing it because he has to pay premium for that. Is that clear, Amma? That insurance agent goes to everyone and advises everyone, take an insurance policy, take an insurance policy. He will talk very nicely. But when it comes to himself, he himself will not do that insurance policy. Then why is he telling everyone to do insurance, take insurance policies? Because he will get a commission out of it. Why he is not doing it himself? Because when he does, he has to pay a premium for that. Same thing. People belong to two categories. One who is called a guru will keep on giving upanyasam but will not practice it himself or herself. Acharya, whether he talks or not, he follows it first of all. And he shows it by example. What is the point in my telling all of you, please go to Vrindavan, when I myself is not willing to go? What is the point in telling every one of you, Naimisharanyam is a great place, when I myself is not planning to go? Therefore, if you are serious about ArcharADri maargam, about Vaikuntham, that is the path the Jivatma will take. Archi means Agni, fire. Adi means etc. It starts with fire and it continues. When Krishna says Agnir Jyotihi Ahashuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahmavido Janaha, we are going in that particular path so that the deities in charge of fire, daytime, Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana, they will escort you. You are an ordinary person. You just go to the railway station, you catch a train, and you go. You have some more money. You go there, you rent a car, and you go. But you are a VIP, say a chief minister, a prime minister. Then you don't do anything. You just tell your PA, I just want to go. I just want to take a trip from Hyderabad to Chennai. By the way, not by flight. I just want to go by road. I just want to see how people are. I just want to see how the lands are. I just want to see how the crops are coming up. That's it. Immediately they will arrange. The Inspector General of Hyderabad will escort the Prime Minister's convoy all the way up to the borders of Andhra. And there he will hand over the charge, how many VIPs are there, how many escort vehicles are needed, to the Inspector General of the Andhra side. And he will take over and he will escort the Prime Minister all the way up to the borders of Tamil Nadu. When they reach the borders of Tamil Nadu, the Inspector General of Andhra will hand over the charge to the Director General of Police of Tamil Nadu. And from there, he will escort all the way to Chennai. Same thing. First of all, for those Jivatmas who are destined to attain Vaikuntham, the Jivatma will not come out of the body at the time of death, either from the upper openings like the eyes, mouth, etc., or from the middle openings like the sweat pores, sweat glands on our body, or from the lower openings like the genitals or the rectum. The Jivatma of the person, devotee who is destined to go to Vaikuntham, will travel all the way through the Murdhanya Nadi, Brahma Nadi, all the way to the top of the skull. there will be a very small hole in the skull called the Brahmarandram. And the Jivatma, being so tiny, will come out of that hole. And the minute the Jivatma came out of the body, that's it, escort people are ready. The first escort, Agni, will escort the Jivatma and hands over to the deity in charge of the daytime. From there, he will escort and hand you over to the deity in charge of Shukla Paksham. After Amavasya until the full moon, the deity in charge of the Shukla Paksham. Afterwards, that deity will hand over this Jivatma to the Uttarayanam, the deity in charge of 6 months from January 14th to July 13th. After his jurisdiction, he will hand over this Jivatma to the Samvatsara, the year. The Samvatsara Purusha then will escort and then hands over the Jivatma to Vayu, wind god. Until his jurisdiction is over, Vayu will escort and then hands over this Jivatma to Surya, sun god. After sun god, Chandra will escort. After Chandra, then comes the Amanavas, the Margas. They start with the Vidyut, lightning. They have a physical body like us, but they have shape, body mechanism, etc. Amanavas, starting with Vidyut. And after Vidyut has done with his jurisdiction, he will hand over to Varuna, the watery god. By then you are there at the borders of Svargalokam. Indra will take over. Indra will escort the Jivatma all the way from Indraloka up to Brahmaloka. Then the Prajapatis, either like Marichi, etc., or directly Brahma himself, will escort you through the Brahmalokam until the end of Brahmalokam. Then you will have a wonderful bath in the river Viraja. Until then, your Sukshma Sharira will also accompany you. You means the Jivatma, because you are not the body. At the time of death, your physical body fell down here itself. So you don't have to worry. But the subtle body, made up of the 5 Jnanendriyas and the 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas, Tvat, Chakshu, Shrotra, Jikva, Ghranas, 5 Karmendriyas, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastas, and the 11th one, the mind, the controller of the 10 Indriyas, Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. These 11 will form the subtle body. You need the subtle body because you should know who is Agni, who is Varuna, who is Indra, who is Brahma. And that is done. Once you take a dip, these senses are of no use in Vaikuntham. With this eyes, we cannot see Bhagavan. With these eyes, we cannot even see the one sun, the blazing sun. How can we expect to see the Divyamangala Virgraha of Lord Sriman Narayana, who has the effulgence of 1,000,000 suns? Therefore, Bhagavan will be blessing you with a divine body. The divine body, you don't start from a child there. You directly come to the age of between 20 to 30. You will have a male form. You will be blessed with the divine senses that know the past, present, and future. That can see the divine effulgence of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. And as you step into Sri Vaikuntham, suppose here you had Sharanagati. When you had Sharanagati, from the time you had Sharanagati, from the time you had Sharanagati, until the time you attain Vaikuntham, you know how a real Sharanagata will behave? They will behave in such a way that a very young girl, say 18, 19, 20 or 21, and a young man, 20, 21, 22, they are engaged. Say, today is March 7th. March 7th, they got engaged. For whatever reason, they decided the marriage will be celebrated in August. So from March 7th to that August 12th, to the actual day of marriage, what are they thinking? Every minute they are dreaming about their marriage. Every minute. Every minute, if they get a chance, they want to meet the other person. They want to talk to the other person. They want to be with the other person. A pure devotee who had Sharanagati, until the last day of this life, they will be waiting like an engaged person, anxiously waiting for the marriage day. And a Sharanagata is not at all afraid of death, because death is the door that opens for this Jivatma to enter Vaikuntham. So he is actually waiting for that day. When will I reach my Lord? When will I reach my Lord? So, once you enter Vaikuntham, it is like you have fulfilled your dream. Over there, when your dream is fulfilled, what all your thoughts are, how will I enjoy? How will I enjoy? How will I enjoy? And once you have reached there, the Apsarasas are there waiting. They will give you wonderful baths. They will decorate you with jewelry, garlands, chandanam. You will be there taken in procession. You will be there taken in a procession. That is why the devotees who had Sharanagati, they only have one thing to think of. Let me live peacefully until this body falls down by itself. We cannot do stupid things. Oh, let me commit suicide so that I'll go to Vaikuntham quickly. You commit suicide, you will never go to Vaikuntham. You are forced to take another birth. And once the death comes naturally, a Sharanagata will enjoy the death also in a very graceful manner. In a very graceful manner. They welcome death as though the death is a deity opening the door for this Jivatma to enter Vaikuntham. Next comes, as you are going there in Sri Vaikuntham, they said, somebody asked yesterday, will there be families? There is no question of family there. There are no relationships there. The only relationship is there only with Paramatma. Therefore, then to which house they will invite you? There are palaces after palaces in Sri Vaikuntham, occupied by the Nityashuris, occupied by the Mukta Jivatmas, etc. The owner is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. You are just occupants. You will be taken from house to house. Nammalvar says, Padangal Kalivinar. They even wash your feet. They are already Mukta Jivatmas, liberated souls. But they are so happy. It is like there is a colony. Somebody created a new colony of, say, 100 houses. Already 10 people are there. Another new arrival comes there. They welcome. For a couple of days, they prepare lunch, everything, and give them until they settle down. It is just like that. Of course, if you have taken Sharanagati, you don't have to worry whether you die during the Uttarayanam or Dakshinayanam. Whichever time you die, Bhagavan is there to take you. So a Sharanagata is also called Prapanna. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to practice any yoga to control your death. So as a Prapanna, you have the choice. You are not bound by the simple rules applicable to others. Whether you die during the daytime or night time, bright fortnight, dark fortnight, Uttarayanam, Dakshinayanam, doesn't matter if you did Sharanagati. Now there is one more thing. Suppose somebody took Sharanagati. Suppose the children did not have Sharanagati. They did not even like their parents doing Sharanagati, or their father or mother or anybody. And when a person who had Sharanagati is leaving the body, popular belief is if the last rites are not done, the funeral rites are not done properly, the Jivatma will not be happy. will end up in Narakam. You know the advantage of Sharanagati. Whether your people will do, whether your family members will do your funeral rites or not, it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter. That Sharanagati is so powerful. You will automatically get Vaikuntham. Whether your son or your grandson or somebody in your family has done the funeral rites for you or not. We cannot even understand how the forces will work. Simple, sir, simple. Look at gravity, a simple thing. Just take a pen and drop it. You take a coin and drop it. It is falling down. So somebody said, oh, there is a gravitational force of attraction, it's falling down. Could you see that gravity? Could you feel that force? You cannot see that. You cannot feel it, but it acts. You cannot see that gravitational force. You cannot feel it, but you know it is acting. Because you drop a coin, it falls to the ground. You drop a pen, it falls to the ground. Same way, this Jivatma is led by the Amanavas, superhuman forces. Now, once you step into the Ratna Manimaya Mantapam, you will go directly to your Acharya. You don't have to worry, how do I identify? Your Jivatma is already blessed with the divine senses. From your Acharya, you will go to the Paramacharya, his Acharya. His Acharya, in the Acharya Parampara, all the way up to Mahatma Vedanta Desika, who crystallizes philosophy of Sharanagati. From there you go to Bhagavad Ramanuja. From there you go to Yamunacharya. From there to Nadhamuni. From Nadhamuni to Nammalvar. Nammalvar to Vishwaksena. Vishwaksena to Sri Mahalakshmi. Another thing, how do your soul reach all the way to top of your skull at the time of death? You have any idea? In our human body, we have what do you call nadis, like small tubes, microscopic tubes, nadis they are called, invisible veins, not one or two, 72,000 of them. 72,000. And these 72,000 nadis, they branch off from your heart and end up in the 9 openings, the 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, the 2 ears, the mouth, the rectum and the genitals. Some of them they run horizontally, some of them downwards. Those Jivatmas who are destined to go to Naraka, and also get next birth like animals, birds, or even trees. And out of the 72,000 nadis, 100 of them, they are of various colors. They go upward from the heart. So if your Jivatma lives through those nadis upwards, you will go to Svargalokas, etc. Now comes the next one. How do your Atma knows which nadi to pick up to go to the top of the skull to get moksham? There is one particular nadi among the 100 mentioned that go above that will start from the navel. That is called from the Mooladhara. And that goes past the heart all the way to the top of the head. This is a special nadi called Brahma Nadi. And inside the body, it is very dark. The Jivatma, how will it pick that nadi? At the time of your death, Lord Sriman Narayana will light up this Brahma Nadi, will illuminate this Brahman Nadi. This is also called Murdhanya Nadi or Sushumna Nadi or Brahma Nadi or leading all the way to Brahmarandra. That is how your Jivatma finds its way. Again, you know it very well. Even if you were to die in your sleep, or even if you were to die that you're in an unconscious state, you don't have to worry. Even if you do not think of, even if you fail to think of the Lord, because you are either sleeping or in an unconscious state, you cannot think of the Lord. You cannot even chant Dvaya Mantram. It doesn't matter. As Varahacharma Shloka says, Bhagavan will think of you. How does it happen? Kevalam Madiyaiva Daya. Out of the unimaginable compassion of Bhagavan, that happens to you. The very fact we did Sharanagati pleases Bhagavan so much that he will do anything and everything for a pure prapanna. Now, as you know, one by one, escorted by archers, Ahas, Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana, Samvatsara, Vayu, Surya, Chandra, Vidyut, Varuna, Indra, Prajapatis. These are the ones, Vidyut, Varuna, Indra, and Prajapati. These are the four people in the last leg of your path. They take the Jivatma to the very boundaries of the Prakriti. That's why these four are called Adhivahakas, means the prime guides, almost at the end. Well, your Jivatma has come all the way. Now you go to Mahalakshmi. And Mahalakshmi presents you to Sriman Narayana, like the most merciful mother who has just given birth to a baby, proudly presents her baby to the father. And the father is so happy to receive the baby from the mother's hands. It's a unique moment, bonding the father, the mother to the baby. The mother feels her own flesh and blood has appeared as the baby, and the father feels his own seed has reappeared as the baby. The mother hands over the baby, newborn baby, to the father. The father feels so elated to receive the baby through the mother. Same situation. Bhagavan wants to know, he wants to tease the Jivatma. Just like the father who is asking the newborn baby, "Hey, little one, who are you? Where did you come from? How come I missed you for so long?" This kind of sweet talk will happen between the Jivatma and Paramatma. Bhagavan will simply ask, "Who are you?" The soul will reply, "I am the soul." Bhagavan says, "Where were you all these days?" The soul will reply, the Jivatma will reply, "I was so unfortunate. I was immersed in Prakriti. I became a slave for Maya. I have been taking birth again and again due to the beginningless sins I have accumulated. Finally, through the grace of my Acharya, I was fortunate to do Sharanagati. Or because of my gurus, I had the Upadesham of the Bhakti Yoga and practice of the Brahma Vidyas to attain. Either through Sharanagati or Bhakti only you can attain moksha." Now comes Bhagavan is asking, "Vishwaksena, come here. Accept this Jivatma to your fold. Let the happiness you enjoy, the Brahmanubhavam, it should be the same. There should be no difference at all between this newly arrived Jivatma into Vaikuntham and the already existing people here, be they Mukta Jivatmas or Nityashuris." At that point of time, what all you are looking for is looking and looking and looking at the divine effulgence of Bhagavan. You feel so blissful. Nothing else matters to you. All the troubles you have taken to maintain your Sharanagati, in spite of so many arts, criticisms, maintaining your Pativrata Bhakti, sticking only to Narayana, not doing Bhagavata Pracharam, you feel this is the true purpose of life. And once you attain that, There is no looking back. There is no coming back at all. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. There is no coming back at all. You will simply be enjoying the divine company of the Mukta Jivatmas and the Nitya Shuris and enjoying that eternal bliss. That is Vaikuntham. The choice is yours. Whether you want to enjoy Vaikuntham or you want to go through the repeated and endless cycles of birth and death, birth and death. The choice is yours. Nobody will force you that you must do this. Enjoy your Vaikuntha Prapti. Go ahead, Ma. Questions?
Acharya, when does Mahalakshmi become as Neela Devi and cover Narayana's eyes so that he cannot see the
That is at the
Papa?
time of Sharanagati. At the time of Sharanagati. Nisha Maitamam Neelam Bhakta Dosheshu Adarshanam. Nisha Maitamam Neelam Yadbhoga Patlayar Dhruvaihi Bhavitam Srinivasasya Bhakta Dosheshu Adarshanam. That is at the time of Sharanagati. Go ahead, Ma. Questions?
Swamiji, one question. Maybe I did not understand this right. So, what is the significance of passing away on, the Uttaraina Punya Kalam and all that? So, if Bhishma did not get moksham, so then why did he wait for that long?
Because he has the choice. Because he knows he still has karma. Because he knows he came on deputation because of a curse from Vasishta. He has to honor the words of the Maharshi. He has to go and complete his job as the Vasus. But still he has that ability to leave the body whenever he wants. He just uses that privilege to depart on a good day. Not that he is expecting moksha. Then why that is mentioned even? That is for the other people who are thinking, I do not want to do Sharanagati, I don't want to do follow Bhakti Yogam. I want to have my own way. Let me practice yoga, let me control my death. Then Krishna says, okay, try your best. If you can wait for an auspicious time, Uttarayanam, Shuklapaksham, daytime, etc.
Will they get moksha, Swami, if somebody is a great yogi and if he decides to leave his body at that time, and not done
The question is,
Sharanagati?
there is one more thing. In addition to these things, they need to have Antakale Chamameva Smaran Mutva Kalivaram. In the last minute, Harinam Smarana should also come. If the practitioner, say for example, just yoga, focusing all the time on a Nirguna Brahma, Jyoti, again the last minute thought will only be that Nirguna Brahma and the Jyoti, so they will get only Kaivalyam, not Moksha. They practice yoga and did Sagunopasana, then they will. But the chances are very rare. That is where the difference between Swatantrayam and Paratantrayam comes. When Bhagavan says, I will take care of you, It is only an ignorant person who says, I will do it myself. But that option is also there. Bhagavan gives you every option.
Okay. And one more question, Swamiji. So during this journey of going to Sri Vaikuntham, you said like Jivatma will be given a male form. What is the significance of male form and why not a female form?
I know quite a few of you are ladies and you will not like this reply. You know very well, ladies have their own problems which are unique for them. Therefore, to do Nitya Kainkaryam, eternal service to Bhagavan, you don't have to worry about any of those problems. And once the Jivatma reaches Vaikuntham, the usual forces of attraction between a man and a woman will not work there because you are guided by higher principles. As you know, in the very beginning of creation, the Jivatmas being given the bodies to do their sadhana either through Bhakti Yoga or Sharanagati and attain moksha. It was only immaculate conception. There was no female form. Creation started either from the mind or from the body directly. That can be done only by people at the highest level. For the remaining people, man-woman combination is needed. That's why the female forms came into existence. In Sri Vaikuntham, there is no need to give any body to any Jivatma. Therefore, you are blessed with a human body, you are blessed with a divine body that is male in appearance. But you don't have to worry. After going there, you have a fancy to become a woman and enjoy Bhagavan? Oh, sure you can. You have the fancy to become a beautiful jasmine plant and give 1,000 jasmines to Krishna? Yes, you have a choice. You have a fancy to become a monkey and enjoy how Hanuman served Rama? You have a choice, you can do that. You have a fancy to do Dasya Bhakti like Vidura? Yes, you can do that. You have a fancy to do Sakhya Bhavam with Krishna? Yes, you can do that like Sudama. You have a fancy to enjoy Vatsalya Bhavam with Krishna? Oh, sure, you will get the form of either Yashoda, Devaki, Kausalya, anything that you want. You have a fancy to enjoy with Bhagavan in the Madhurya Bhava? Oh, sure, you will get the body of Gopikas, whichever way you want. That is the greatness of Vaikuntham. Go ahead, Amma. No more questions, Amma.
Acharya, how about the sins after doing Sharanagati? When are those evaluated?
What is it? How about
About the sins committed after taking Sharanagati, when does
the
Narayana...
sins committed after Sharanagati? As long as they are not Anya Devata Puja, as long as they are not Bhagavata Pacharam, you will get punishment in this life itself. Depending on how good you are after Sharanagati, either you may get 100% punishment and wash off that sin, reduce the punishment 10% only and wash off that sin, no punishment at all, forgiven and wash off that sin, or you are an exemplary devotee even though you made some mistakes, the sins will be passed on to the enemies who hated you. But that will all happen in this life itself. Because at the time of leaving the body, your account is zero. No punya karma, no papa karma to your credit. Papa karma, as you said, 4 ways of enjoying. 100% punishment, reduced punishment 10%, no punishment completely forgiven, or your sins transferred to your enemies to go through the punishment. Punya karma, either Krishna will give you, you want it, Krishna will give you the benefit of enjoying here itself, or you don't even want that, Krishna will distribute that punya karma to the people who are very favorable to you after Sharanagati, but your account is zero when you are leaving. No punya karma, no papa karma.
Acharya, Prayaschitta Prapati is there, right?
Prayaschitta Prapati is there, yes. That is not for Anya Devata Puja. That is not for Bhagavata Pacharam. Prayaschitta Prapati is after Sharanagati. You are not supposed to eat non-veg. Out of temptation, you ate. You are not supposed to take alcohol. Out of temptation, you did. You are not supposed to eat forbidden foods that are not offered to Krishna. Masala dosha, etc. Not supposed to visit gambling house after Sharanagati. Supposed to be harsh on others. You might not have done Bhagavat Apacharam, but you might have been harsh on others, sometimes even Bhagavatas. So for expiating this kind of things, namely, these things will be there delaying your attaining moksha, because you still have to stay here for some more time to wash off those mistakes. That is when you do Prayaschitta Prapati. That is when you do Prayaschitta Prapati. But you should be very careful. After doing the Prayaschitta Prapati, you cannot do those mistakes again. You should be very careful when you do Prayaschitta Prapati. That means after Prayaschitta Prapati, people almost like, they behave they are deaf. They behave they are blind. They behave they are dumb. They won't even retaliate. They will just simply smile and leave. Go ahead, Amma. What are your other questions?
So, Acharya, is it mandatory for to do the Prayaschitta Prapati there? If Acharya is not around, then what should we do, Acharya? Can we go to other Acharyas, do the Prayaschitta Prapati if Asmat Acharya is not around?
I don't follow you, sir. You're not.
No. The question is, if Acharya is not around, can we go to other Acharyas and do the Prayaschitta Prapati? Is it mandatory?
They go to the next acharyas in the same lineage. They go to the next acharya. Suppose
In our case, it will be Ahobila Matam, right, Acharya?
what is it?
In our case, it will be Ahobila Matam, right, Acharya?
I cannot get you, sir. Somehow you are not very clear.
Is it in our case? Is it Ahobila Matam, or where should we go?
It all depends. We belong to Ahobila Matam only. If your acharya belongs to Ahobila Matam, you also belong to Ahobila Matam. But afterwards, if suppose there are other acharyas following your acharya, so you go to them. The idea is the ease of, you can go to any Acharya who can do Prayaschitta Prapatti, and you can do. There's nothing wrong in that. An Acharya should be capable of doing, say, Prayaschitta Prapatti, that's all. And it will work. In fact, there is another one also. Suppose at the time of Sharanagati, you are not that keen about moksham. Anyway, I had to do Sharanagati. So you did. But say after a few years, you become extremely impatient. You become extremely impatient to wait until your death. Again, that is a judgment call between the student and the Acharya. They do Artha Prapatti also. Suppose age 20, somebody did Sharanagati. That time he was not very serious, but he wanted to make sure that he will get moksha after death. But about age 60, age 70, they became very serious. They felt, why waiting again? Enough, I had enough. They may come for Artha Prapatti. But again, it is a judgment call whether the Acharya accepts that you are really impatient to get Vaikuntham. So if so, Artha Prapatti can also be done. But the Sharanagati for moksham is done only once. You cannot do it again. Sharanagati, that's why Rama says, Sakrudeva Prapanaya. Sakrat means only once.
This Shankachakra Dharana will be done again during the Prashchita Prapatti.
Can you come to the phone and remove your mask and speak maybe?
No, this Shankachakra Dharana will be done again during the Prashchita Prapatti.
You are mistaken. Shankachakra Dharana is called Samashrayanam. That is where there is a lot of difference between the Samashrayanam and Sharanagati. Samashrayanam time you have Shankachakra Mudras. Sharanagati is purely the 15 minutes procedure after Samashrayanam, that the Acharya is making you give the promises and he is repeating and he is saying and you are repeating. That is Sharanagati. Samashrayanam once done, it is enough. Suppose a girl is there, when before marriage does Samashrayanam under one Acharya. After marriage, she married a person belonging to another Acharya. So that girl may go and have Samashrayanam, so that she will belong to that Acharya. But that Acharya will not do Sharanagati again. Because Sharanagati, he will ask, are you done Sharanagati? Yes. So you can have only Samashrayanam, so that you will belong to him. So Samashrayanam is that where you belong to. Sharanagati, irrespective of to whom you belong to, you are guaranteed moksham, to guarantee moksham. Is that clear?
Yes, Acharya. Yes.
Like say, if you look at the 6th Jeeyar of Ahobilamatam, he was actually belonging to Tengalai Sampradayam. But he was very close to Ahobilamatam Jeeyars. So they invited him. So he had Samashrayanam again and Sharanagati. We accepted the Vadagalai way of doing and became the Jeeyar. Because in Tennai Sampradayam, Tannacharya Sampradayam, there is no Sharanagati, there is only Samashrayanam. It is only the Desika Sampradayam, there is both Samashrayanam and Sharanagati. Samashrayanam is like a passport to Vaikuntham. Having a passport doesn't mean you are guaranteed admission. When you do Sharanagati, your passport is also stamped with a visa, guaranteed admission. But according to the Tannacharya Sampradayam, for them passport is enough. When they reach the gates of Vaikuntham, Bhagavad Ramanuja will do Sharanagati for them and then they will enter, they say. Whereas for the Deshika Sampradayam people, they have the passport and visa here itself ready, and there is no waiting there at the gates of Vaikuntham. They will directly enter Vaikuntham because their visa is already approved.
Namaskaram, Acharya. I think I want to have one question clarified. You mentioned about Amanavas and the Vidyatut step. Could you explain that the both steps again, Acharya?
What is it? Amanava and
Amanavas and the next step, Vidyatut.
you see the last four, namely starting from Vidyut, Varuna, Indra, Prajapatis. They are called Amanavas.
Okay.
They will escort you till the boundaries of the manifested Prakriti. These deities are also called Adhivahakas. Adhivahakas means the prime guides. It is like, you have to enter the president's palace, like the outer screening, 2 or 3 outer screenings, then the inner screening, like that. Like you have to enter an operating room. You need some surgery done. You go to the hospital first. You go to the reception. They will show you to the admissions. After admissions, you will still be there in a waiting room. Then the operating room people will come. Afterwards only the real operating room people will come and prepare you to enter the surgery by covering you with the sterilized clothes, everything, cleaning you up, prepping you for the surgery. So the process starts all the way that you are taking a cab and going to the hospital, going to the reception, going to the admission office, going to the pre-admission tests, waiting in the area, until the operating room people will take you to the last leg. But they will also take you only up to the operating room. They will not enter the operating room. The operating room people will come and then take you there. So that is how the first 8 Devatas, the Devatas that are accompanying you are normal escorts. But these people are the prime escorts, prime guides. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, Acharya. Thank you.
Go ahead, Amma. Any other questions, Amma?
Narayan Swami, Agni comes before Surya, or there is there Agni is there?
Agni is the first one, Amma.
Okay.
Agni is the first one. Just as in that Bhagavad Gita shlokam, Agnir Jyotihi Ahar Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayinam, these are the first 4. Agni, daytime, Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana. Then comes the Samvatsara, another 4. The Samvatsara, Vayu, Surya, Chandra. These are the intermediaries. The final escorts, Vidyut, Varuna, Indra, and Prajapati. Go ahead, Amma. Anything else, Amma, you want to know about ArcharADri maargam?
Swamiji,
Acharyaji,
I mean, go ahead,
Go
please.
ahead.
sorry, there was one question in the Bhagavatam class also it came up. Does the soul live in Bhulokam without a body? Are the souls live here in Bhulokam without body?
Can the soul exist in Bhulokam without a body?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
No
Acharya.
way. In fact, the soul can exist without a body in the Bhulokam, then you are called a ghost.
Yeah, that is what is.
You are called, say for example, somebody is stupid. That fellow is supposed to live for, say, 79 years. But age 50, he picked up a fight with his wife or something. He committed suicide. The soul's next body will not be ready until that age 79. But this fellow committed suicide at age 50. So from age 50 till age 70, his next body is not ready. So that particular soul with its subtle body, of the senses and the mind, will be there wandering in the Prakriti without a body. Those are the ones who are called ghosts. If you kill someone, whatever sin you get the same sin of killing yourself. You are depriving the soul to go through the karma that it has to go through with the body. That means you are taking law into your own hands. So it is like asking, already I committed so many crimes and I'm going through the punishment. By doing the suicide, you are actually aggravating the situation. That you have got additional karma of depriving the soul of going through its prarabdha karma. So, but why people do it? First of all, they are not interested in the soul. They feel they are the controllers of their destiny. They feel they can do anything. So all these problems come because of avidya, ajnanam.
Thank you so much. So recently there is a lot of this news coming up where these teenagers and all are committing suicide. Lot of this news coming in. So my daughter was asking, so if you take Krishna's name and commit suicide, will you go to Vaikuntham?
How do you know you are taking Krishna's name? You are only chanting Krishna, Krishna, but you are committing suicide. No, you will not go to Vaikuntham if you take Krishna's name because you are thinking. But the minute you are committing suicide, your jivatma may not come out of your body when you chant Krishna, Krishna. There may be so many other thoughts that will come into your mind. By the way, it is not the mouth that is chanting Krishna, Krishna. It is the mind that has to recollect Krishna. Smarana antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Even if that word is there, Narayana, in the case of Ajamila, he chanted Narayana, not meaning the God, but mechanically chanted Narayana, the son's name. Vishnu Dutas came and didn't give him moksham right away. They gave him extension of life. This man afterwards went to Badrikashramam, did afterwards tapasya, sharanagati, and then only got moksham. So, if somebody thinks they think of Krishna, Krishna and commit suicide, no. It is the mouth that is chanting, but the mind may be contemplating on other things. The mind is very subtle. Just like we. Say 1 second back, I was answering your question, but I was also looking at the time. Oh, it is already going to be close to 10 o'clock. My mind is thinking, that means I may have to go upstairs for the Santana Gopala Krishna Puja. But I'm still talking to you. Are you getting it, Mala?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yeah, because I'm still talking to you. I'm explaining about concept of people committing suicide and depriving the soul of a body to go through its parabdha karma. But at the same time, my mind was also looking at a clock. And my mind was also contemplating, Oh, it's okay, close to be 10 o'clock. Maybe in a couple of minutes I'll close and then go upstairs for taking care of the people if somebody is waiting for me for Santana Gopala Puja. See how the thought process went. But you don't know that I was thinking like that. Same thing. They may be chanting Krishna, Krishna, but the mind may be thinking of something else. Antakale chamameva smaran mukta kalivaram. That is the most important thing. That Haris Smarana is not that easy. In the case of Jadabharata also the same thing. He was such a devoted man. How much tapasya he did that even after becoming a deer, he could think of the previous birth, he remembers. And he, after leaving the body of a deer, he took another birth and now he remembers 3 births. See how much tapasya he did. But unfortunately, in the first birth, without his knowledge, the thought of the deer came to his mind in the last minute. That's why I was telling the kids the other day in the kids Bhagavad Gita class. Very religious people, they do not keep any pets in their house. Because if you have a pet, say, aquarium, and you keep a few fish there, your mind will be there without your knowledge attracted to them. How is the fish? How is the fish? Shall I feed it? Did it grow big? Did it eat? If you have a cat, if you have a dog, if you have a parrot, without your knowledge, you develop attachment. Without our knowledge, we develop attachment to the wife, husband, children, family. Forget about all these things. Attachment to money, attachment to luxury, attachment to happiness. So many things we develop attachments. Why do you want more attachments? The idea of spiritual life is asanga shastrena drudena chitva. Get the sharp weapon, sharp knife, call it detachment, and cut off all your attachments, all your bandhanas. That's what Krishna says. That's why spiritual people, they don't keep any pets. They do not keep any pets. That's why spiritual people, they do not even stay at one place. They keep on moving. Go ahead.
Narayan Swamiji. It is understood that for Sharanagati there is a guaranteed Vaikuntham through Acharya's Acharya Parampara. Comparing to Bhakti Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga also provides in various Sampradaya the Acharya Parampara. So how to understand the difference between that?
In Bhakti Yoga, you are not guaranteed you will get moksha at the end of this life itself. You may not. The pass mark is 100%. In this life, if you go only, if you can qualify and you get 100%, you will get moksha. But again, the Bhakti Yoga, ordinary people think, oh, I am doing 16 rounds, or I am chanting, or I go to temples, or I chant. This is not Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means you should go to an Acharya practicing Bhakti Yoga. There are 32 Vidyas called Brahma Vidyas, Dahara Vidya, Nachiketa Vidya, Panchagni Vidya, Nyasa Vidya, Sri Vidya, Madhu Vidya. Get that Upadesham of that particular Bhakti Yoga and do Upasana in the way prescribed by that Acharya. Then only Bhakti Yoga works. Just chanting 16 rounds, they may think this is Bhakti Yoga. That's fine. Let them think. If that is the case, where is the guarantee that they will get moksha? Because Krishna says they will be born Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. They did not get 100%. They will take another birth. So Bhakti Yoga is like a monkey, baby monkey. It should hold on to the feet of the mother monkey. The mother will not hold the baby. The baby should hold on to the mother. And it is impossible because 8 hours you sleep. What will you do if you were to die in your sleep or in a coma? No guarantee you will take birth. But that will not be a bad birth. It will be in a very religious family or an orthodox family. But that is not enough. Yes, this life you came up to 52% of perfection in Bhakti Yoga. Next time you'll be born in a religious family and you continue from 53rd percentile, but not from 0, 53rd percentile. But with Satsangam, you may make progress from 53 to 89%. Or you may get into bad company and you may also go back from 53 to 29 also. Both are possible. But when you come to 90% of perfection in this life and fail to attain moksha because it is still 90%, your next birth will be Adhava Yoginameva Kule Bhavati Dhematam. So the people who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, what they think, they must understand in what kind of a family I am born. Am I born in a very religious family or an orthodox family? That means I started the Bhakti Yoga in my previous lives itself. Are you born in the family of great yogis? That means that I'm at 90% of perfection. This is the last birth. If not, you have to acquire that 100% in this birth itself. And it is like a student wishful thinking. Every year after writing my exams, I used to think I'll get 98%. But when I look at the actual results, I may get only 68%. It is not me who decides how many marks I want to give myself. It is the examiner who has to judge whether I deserve 68% or 98%. So in Bhakti Yoga, your moksham, you may or may not get moksham at the end of this life. You may get more births or you may not get more births, we don't know. And when you will get moksham, you don't know. Because you cannot decide I already became 100% perfect. And only for Sharanagati, Varaha Swamy gave the guarantee whether you die in a sleep or in a coma, if you cannot think of me, I will think of you. For Bhakti Yoga, it is mandatory. You must think of Hari in the last minute. And that may not be possible. Your sadhana, if it is good, you may get it in one life. But if not, you may take more births. But you will get one day. That much is sure, yes. Is that clear, Tulsi?
Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji.
So in Bhakti Yoga, there is no, you will get moksham, but when you do not know. It may be at the end of this life or it may be after 10 more lives. But you will get one day. Whereas in Sharanagati, you are guaranteed to get moksham at the end of this life as long as you don't do another Devi Devata pujas, other Devi Devata pujas and Bhagavata Pacharam. Even if you die in your sleep or in coma, even if you do not think of Bhagavan in the last minute, these are the advantages of, because it is like Marjala Kishoranyayam. You don't do anything. The mother cat will hold the kitten and will safely transport it. The burden of transporting your Jivatma from here to Vaikuntham lies with Bhagavan, not with you. Bhakti Yoga, the burden of transporting your Jivatma lies with you, not with Bhagavan. Is that clear, ma? All right, enjoy,
Yeah.
ma.
Swamiji, Narayana, Narayana.
We
I
have
have a
the class in the afternoon, right, Mala?
Yes, Swamiji. So I was wondering today we did 9 and 10. Shall I send 11 and 12 chapter today?
What about 9? Did you do 9?
Yeah, last week we did 9 and 10. I put it. So see,
No,
No, we
last
finished only 8, Amma.
right.
we
We
finished
finished
only
only 8,
8.
son. Yes, yes. Last week we will finish 8 only.
Okay, so
Because
Yeah.
we went on and on and on. We were supposed to do 7 and 8 one week, we did only 7. We were supposed to do 8 and 9, we did only 8. Am I right, sir?
Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swami.
Yes, sir.
Swamiji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Swamiji.
Again, Swamiji.
These are
I have a
big
question, Swamiji.
chapters.
Swamiji.
So only ninth chapter I'll put for today.
Put 9 and 10, but I don't think we can do more than 9 because ninth chapter itself is starting, Traividyamam Samapa, and that explanation will go on for a long time. I know that.
Okay.
Swamiji.
Very-
Swamiji. Again, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Again. Somebody I want to ask question, Swamiji, is from Maryland, Swamiji. Please, Swamiji.
What is that, sir?
Narayana
Sir.
Swamiji. So I had the question on the Bhagavata Pacharas. So how do we identify who is a Bhagavata, Swamiji? How is it only for people who have taken Sharanagati? Is that how we have to say that we should not be thinking bad about them or bad mouthing or anything like that? Or how do we know that he is a Bhagavata?
First of all, whether they are Bhagavatas or not, we are not supposed to make apacharas.
Okay.
Whereas if it is ordinary people, there are other procedures of expiation, prayashchittas.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Bhagavatas are concerned, you just look at them. One day you go to their house. If they have even a trace of Anya Devatas in their house, they are not Bhagavatas. If they are dedicated, following Pativrata Bhakti after Sharanagati, they are Bhagavatas. It doesn't matter whether they are Brahmin, non-Brahmin, man, woman, that restrictions will not apply for Bhagavatas. Irrespective of, we cannot say all Brahmins are Bhagavatas. You cannot say all non-Brahmins are not Bhagavatas. You cannot say all non-Brahmins only are Bhagavatas. That is not. A person, Bhagavata means who follows Pativrata Bhavam towards Bhagavata. First of all, they should understand Bhagavan means Sriman Narayana or his Purna Avataras. And if they are worshipping them, either with Bhakti Yoga or with Sharanagati exclusively, they are Bhagavatas. The rest of the people are devotees. There is a lot of difference between devotees and Bhagavatas.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you decide? Why do you have to decide? It is almost like, you are trying to test everyone without testing yourself.
No, I don't want to test Swamiji. If somebody they say I had a background from Sadashiva Garmos, so I have a background from ISKCON. So somebody says, how I'm just saying, okay, it's not it's Sharanagati. How could Sriman, how could we take only in the end Sharanagati and then we can think of getting moksham when other sampradayas, like you should it's like sculpting, you have to have that yogyata or sadhana before even you can even think of getting moksham in this janma itself. So how do you
One second, sir.
Mhm.
If we have committed Bhagavata Pacharas, they should go directly to the Bhagavata and ask for forgiveness.
Mhm.
But if they have done things unknowingly, that is the most important one.
Mhm.
Those mistakes will be wiped out at the time of Sharanagati. At the
Mhm.
time of Sharanagati, when Krishna says, Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, that will apply to only to the sanchita karma that is waiting for you from after this birth, not for the karma you have to go through in this birth. Not for the karma. The karma that you have to go through in this birth is the prarabdha karma, which you are not asking for exemption, so you have to go through.
Mhm.
So that is the reason why they say, once you have done Sharanagati, you made sure that your future births are cancelled. The sanchita karma waiting for you for the next million births is burnt to ashes.
Mhm.
But whatever karma you have to go through in this life, you have to go through.
Mhm.
Because we did not ask for that kind of Sharanagati. The person who can give you $1 million, can't he give you $2? Same thing. The Sanchita Karma we have to go through is worth for 1 million births. When Bhagavan could wipe out the Sanchita Karma, can't he wipe out the Prarabdha Karma that we have to go through in this life? Yes, he can. But we did not ask for it. We asked Etad Deha Vasani Mam Tatpadam Prapaya Swayam. If you do that kind of Sharanagati, I don't want this life also. Right today I want moksha. But the Acharya should be a different prapatti for that called Artha prapatti. May not be willing to do because you not be genuinely interested in moksha. You might have come there for Artha prapatti out of frustration. You're not coming out of pure love for God, but you're coming out of distress or frustration. And that is not the reason for doing Artha prapatti. Therefore, the karma that you have to go through in this life, you have to go through. So what happens? So after Sharanagati, you have to be very careful. If you already have done it, and whatever karma that you're going through in the future was, Bhagavan has forgiven. That's why after Sharanagati, they did not do Anudevata. Before Sharanagati, everybody did Anudevata Puja. So many people did. But they did not do it after. Is that clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear, Swamiji. Thank you. So one other, sorry, I will one other question I have, small question. So if let us say we this is about dhanam, right? So when I was listening to yesterday, so if let us say somebody asks for dhanam for some service, charity, because there is a disaster somewhere, so are we supposed to give dhanam to those kind of things, or there are so many charitable hospitals
Oh,
who
sure.
keep?
There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong in that. There is
Okay.
nothing wrong in that. Give them. But the question is, say for example, let's take a practical example. You have given, say, a donation to a hospital. Nothing wrong in that. But suppose that hospital is serving, beef to the patient as lunch.
Yes.
And don't you think that your $1, suppose you have given $10. In the $10 that you have given, 1 cent of your donation has gone, even for providing a lunch for a patient also.
Of course.
In the $10 that you have given, that 1 cent, it may be 1 cent, maybe let's put it that way, $10 you have given, $1 might have gone for the hospitalization bills, or say $1 for the medications, $1 for the hospital charges, but at least there is 1 cent or 10 cents that has gone into providing a meal for the patient, which consists of beef.
Correct.
And indirectly you are liable for that.
Yeah. So we
now
should
look
not.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Somewhere in China, the coronavirus started. How come people are all getting isolated, suffering, loss of money, loss of income, loss of jobs, so many things? Why people are getting affected? You are not directly killing those animals. You are not directly killing those animals. It is very simple, sir. Suppose you have a job. Look at this one. You have a job. When you have a job, your company allows you to save some money for your retirement. You kept some money in your 401k, but you kept it, say, for example, in Fidelity Investments. You don't know how that Fidelity Investments is investing.
Correct.
That Fidelity Investments is invested in, say, for example, IBM or some Apple computer. But that Apple computer felt, if I make the manufacturing in America, salaries I have to pay very high. If I do it in China, I can pay less and get. So your 401k invested in an innocent way without any knowledge into Fidelity Investments you don't even know, where they invested in Apple computer or IBM or something, where they got the job done in America. I mean, sorry, not in America, but China, say for example. And those people who have done indulged in that sin, but finally, when the profit came to that Apple or IBM, say for the investment you made, 5% of that income is coming to you as your income, right? As your profit.
Correct.
So indirectly you're benefited by that, right?
Correct.
Therefore, you get that sin of that man killing that animals and then eating and then getting you this profit. That is the reason why. That is the reason why people in spiritual life are extremely careful about where they get the money, where they get the food, and all those things.
But Swamiji, in the same account, I don't want to argue, but in the same account, like, we are working, we are paying taxes. We don't know how the taxes are going to be used. It's used for so many things.
That there you don't get sin, because if you don't pay taxes, it is sin. But if you pay taxes afterwards, if they mismanage it by the government or this thing, that goes to them. Whereas here you are getting the benefit out of a sin. That's why you get karma.
Mm-hmm.
While paying the taxes, you are not getting benefit. Whereas while getting the income, you got the benefit of enjoying that income.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, that is the reason why we are trying to mix apples with oranges and try to come up with a khichdi in between. That is the problem. One is a material life, another is spiritual life, and we are trying to strike a balance between the outcome of a material life into the input of spiritual life. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
The outcome of a material life, like say our job, our income, our expenses, our profits, our loss, into a spiritual life which is purely beyond all these things.
Mm.
That is the reason why they say at some point or other, leave this grahasthashramam, come to vanaprastha or sannyasam, where you are free of all these super benefits of sin and sin. Got it?
Yes, Swamiji. I think it was breaking. It's fine. Yeah.
Swami, any way that we can get rid of that sin we get from unknowingly through this type of you said like investments or whatever.
At some point or other, we will talk about it, will explain you. A person in spiritual life has to get out of everything. But if you say that I want to be here, fine, at least do Sharanagati and leave it to Bhagavan. If he feels he should give you punishment for getting that kind of income from that kind of investments done without your knowledge, he will do it. If he thinks that it's okay, it's an innocent mistake, he can forgive, he will forgive. If he feels he can give you only 10% punishment, he will give. But that cannot be decided by you and me or by anyone, only by Sriman Narayana. All right, Amma. Narayana. We'll continue in the afternoon.
Narayana.
Narayana. Thank you.
This session is no longer being recorded.